There are moments in life when it feels like everything is slipping away, when hope seems to have disappeared and your strength is gone. You've prayed until the tears wouldn't fall anymore. You've waited until your heart grew weary, and you've wondered if God is even listening. But hear this: God has never left you. God has never turned his back on you. God's miracle will arrive, not when you feel strong, not when life is easy, but when hope feels gone. That is when God shows his power. That is when God reveals his glory. That is when God proves that his grace is greater than your weakness. God does not wait for you to be perfect before he moves. God does not require you to have it all together before he shows up. God works in the broken places. God moves in the dark valleys. God reveals his power in the middle of your struggle, and when you feel like you cannot go another step, when the weight on your shoulders feels too heavy, that is when God lifts you. That is when God breathes his strength into your soul, and that is when God's miracle arrives. Never confuse God's silence with God's absence. Just because you cannot hear him does not mean he is not working. God is always moving, always arranging, always shifting things on your behalf, even when you cannot see it. What feels like delay is often God's protection. What feels like an answered prayer is often God's redirection. God knows what you cannot see. God knows what lies ahead. God knows the danger you are being spared from. And God's timing, though it often feels late, is always perfect. God's miracle is not just about what he gives you. It is about what he builds in you. God uses waiting seasons to strengthen your faith. God uses painful seasons to deepen your trust. God uses storms to show you that his hand is greater than any wave that tries to drown you. And when it looks like the story is over, when the world says you are finished, God steps in and writes a new chapter that no one saw coming. That is the miracle of God. It's not just about the blessing, it's about the transformation. Today, the same God who parted seas, who raised the dead, who silenced the lions, is the same God watching over you. God has not changed. God's power has not weakened. God's mercy has not expired. God's miracle is not reserved for the past. It is alive for you today, and when your hope feels gone, that is when you are closest to seeing his hand move. Do not let despair convince you that God has abandoned you. Do not let fear tell you that God has forgotten you. Every moment of your life is in God's hand. Every breath you take is a gift from God. Every battle you fight is already seen by God, and every victory is already secured in God's plan. You may feel surrounded by darkness, but God's light will always break through. You may feel overwhelmed by loss, but God's restoration is greater than anything you lost. You may feel crushed by pain, but God's healing will lift you higher than you were before.